Welcome. I'm pleased to present the CF&A report. I'm Dr. Irish Gaymon-Spencer, President, CF&A.
And I'm Dr. Mark King, your Conference Treasurer.
Points of inspiration. First, thank you for the faithfulness of some 77% of our churches paying 100% of their apportionments for 2022. The connectional table, conference staff, superintendents and their staff, and CF&A have worked diligently to reduce apportionments across the board. We all understand the need for local churches to spend more resources in their localities. However, we also hope there is value and inspiration to share in and the greater connection beyond our local communities. Some 40% of the apportionments to the conference are returned each year to the churches in the way of grants and program support. Your apportionment dollars are key to provide resources for Bishop Carter's 4 emphases for our conference, which include work to have vital, sustainable, and innovative local churches and fresh expressions, continue to address racism and seek to train and support clergy, laity, and churches to combat this evil of our time, train, deploy, and support clergy and spiritual leaders for their resilience and health, and continue the United Methodist Church so that we are fully engaged in making disciples for the transformation of our churches, our conference, our state, and nation and world. CF&A report. Don't forget, it's going to be Saturday, June 17th, during the morning session of annual conference. You can find our full report in the program and reports booklet, as well as the supplement. I will now invite Dr. Mark King, our conference treasurer, to review key points of our report.
The CF&A report actually has 2 parts. First are the policy statements updated for 2024. You can look at all of those and see those in our report, so I will not go into them in great detail. The second part of the CF&A report is the proposed 2024 budget, and I'd like to share some things about it. While 2022 saw a decline in the COVID pandemic and its impact on our churches, many of them returning to in-person worship and ministry, inflation and the post-pandemic effects have impacted all of us. Actual receipts for 2022 were down 3% from the year 2021, even though due to the general church increases, the 2022 budget was slightly higher than 2021. We are all living into this new reality, and trust me, your conference leadership gets that. We endeavored for a responsible yet effective 2024 budget in this current environment. The conference portion of the 2024 budget totals $7,994,870, and it is a decrease of 3.5% over 2023. After an increase in general church apportionments in 2022, we have reduced the general church apportionments in 2023 and also again in 2024. CF&A believes that until we have a clearly defined budget from the General Conference actions, along with evidence that so many of our general agencies are significantly reducing their own budgets, we need to act prudently. Therefore, we have taken the GCF&A allotment budget for 2024, and we have reduced it by 18%, which is the word we have received that our general agencies are reducing their budgeting accordingly. The general church apportionments are $4,624,301. This is in effect a decrease of 8.4% from 2023. So therefore, the total 2024 conference and general church budget is $12,619,171. And this is a total net decrease of 5.35%. What's included in the conference portions? Well, there are 4 areas: the equitable compensation grants, district support for our superintendents and their staff, conference support, and then the connectional ministry support. You can find the conference support further broken down in Schedule 1 in your program and reports book. There are 3 areas for conference support: conference services, conference staff, and conference administration. Conference services has been decreased a total of 24%. The majority of this coming from a reduction of the contingency line. The conference staff section has a 4.5% increase. We believe this is modest, and it covers anticipated costs that go along primarily with benefits and those types of cost considerations. But rest assured, your conference is working very hard at maximizing staff alignment with the conference mission. The conference administration has a 3% decrease. We would have loved to increase this decrease, but unfortunately with the lawsuits that have hit the conference, our legal costs have to be budgeted appropriately. Then there is the connectional ministry support. You can find this further broken down in Schedule 2. Connectional Table worked very hard to align their ministries along with their budgeting that resulted in an 8.2% decrease for that area. You will notice an additional column in the budget that's carried over from 2023's allotment and will continue in 2024. CF&A wanted to share the true costs of several of our lines. So this column reflects funding that comes from other sources that will help bring the apportionment column to a lesser amount. And it's a more realistic budget for the churches. I'm pleased to report that $658,000 comes through these other sources that will lower the local church's apportionment part. Finally, one important consideration to note. In May, we anticipate approving some 190 congregations who desire to disaffiliate and no longer be a part of our connection. Even with the reduced budget, the remaining churches will have seen an increase in their apportionments for 2024. CF&A found this unacceptable. To that end, according to paragraph 2553 and its requirements, we will receive a year's advance in apportionments from these departing churches. So CF&A is prudently recommending that the conference set aside those advance payments and use 75% of them to apply to the 2024 apportionments allocated to the remaining churches. The other 25% not used will be set aside for 2025. Furthermore, CF&A is proposing that the conference set aside the apportionment calculation formula for 2024, and for those remaining churches, we will take their 2023 conference and general church apportionments and reduce them by 2%. District apportionments will freeze at the 2023 amount. You need to know that compared to the total spending of our churches in 2022, the 2024 budget with all components, general conference and district, represent 8 to 9% of those expenditures. Such means that our local churches are free to use 91 to 92% of their budgets for use in the local church and the local community. Thank you for your time. And please, any further questions can be redirected to me. And I ask that God bless us all as we continue to be United Methodists who make disciples for the transformation of our communities and our world.
I echo what Mark said about being United Methodists for this time. Allow me to conclude by saying thank you. Thank you for being who you are. Thank you for being a part of the Western North Carolina Conference. Continue to pray for each and every one of us and continue to pray for our world. Thank you.